of Hyderabad Management Association and dear participants, I am Dr. Ramsha Khalik and it is my honor and privilege to serve as the host for today's program. On behalf of HMA, I extend a very warm welcome to each one of you to the HMA ESG Leadership Program. This program has been organized under HMA's annual theme for 2025-26, Management in the AI Era, and brings together eminent leaders from academia, governance, and industry to deliberate on one of the most critical imperatives of our time, environmental, social, and governance leadership. Today's session will offer rich insight into topics such as carbon net zero initiative, ESG framework from a global perspective, green funding, and climate finance, the evolving role of ESG in CSR, India's green journey, and green jobs with new initiatives of HMA. We are deeply honored to have with us an illustrious panel of speakers to be graced by our chief guest, Shri Jayesh Ranjan, IAS, Special Chief Secretary, Government of Telangana, whose presence adds immense value to the program. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you. May this program be insightful, engaging, and inspiring for everyone present. May I kindly request everyone to take their seats as we formally begin today's program. Invitation to our esteemed dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais. I also request our distinguished audience to join me in welcoming them with a big round of applause. Mrs. Chetna Jain, ESG Convener, HMA. Mr. Vasudevan G, Secretary, HMA. Mr. Sharat Chand Moruju, Vice President, HMA. Mr. Alwala Devendra Reddy, President, HMA. And our chief guest for the day, Shri Jayesh Ranjan, IAS, Special Chief Secretary, Speed Projects and Investment Cell, Chief Minister's Office, Government of Telangana. May I request the dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais. In keeping with our rich tradition, we now proceed with the Jyoti Prajwalan, symbolizing the dispelling of ignorance and the illumination of knowledge. As beautifully said, दीपक स्वयं जलकर दूसरों को प्रकाश देता है. Just as the lamp overcomes darkness, each one of us has a potential to bring clarity, hope, and vision to the world around us. I respect our respected dignitaries on the dais to kindly participate in the lamp lighting ceremony.
विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोस्तुते दीप ब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीप ब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि पुत्रांश्च मतिं स्वच्छां हि मे सदा रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत् रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत् यस्य तिष्ठे गृहे दीपः तस्य नास्ति दरिद्रता शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
To sustainability and environmental responsibility, may I request the HMA team to present a sapling to our esteemed chief guest. collaboration and promoting responsible leadership practices. His vision and commitment continue to inspire meaningful dialogue and sustainable growth within the HMA community. May I request Mr. Devendra Reddy sir to kindly take the dais and formally welcome the gathering.
Warm welcome to our chief guest, Sri Jayesh Ranjan sir. In fact, he is honoring us earlier also for the quiz program on the finalist day. He was there. And warm welcome to all the participants. I'll call sustainability champions from academia, from industry, and also warm welcome to our past presidents, our Margdarshaks, and also to the speakers of the day. As you all know that HMA has crossed the milestone of journey of 60 years. We are known for building capacity for the future leaders in academia through students, bridging the gap between the industry and academia, and also at corporate level for the young miners, we are known for building the capacity. And this year, our initiatives like Saksham, which is known for campus to corporate placement, it is a CRT program. This has been devised, bringing the best practices. In fact, Sri Harsha Reddy sir from IMT was also part of this one. This has been made particularly picking up the World Economic Forum gap report on the skill force, how the workforce of next 5 years should be there for the report of World Economic Forum of 2025 and then align with NEP 2020. This is an IRP program for the students who are trying to go as a job seeker. And for the job generators, we have a program called Entrepreneurship Development Program. We call it as Samarth. This is a workshop model where students will be in an immersive workshop model. Unlike any theory or any knowledge session, it is going to make students to participate in the EDP program. And as we are moving ahead, as today the biggest challenge for human race is climate change. You know, all the governments across the globe are being bonded by the Paris Summit Climate Pact of 2016. And all the state governments are being measured on the sustainability initiatives by Niti Aayog. And recently, Government of India has made it for CAG to adhere to the norms of SEBI guidelines, even for the government departments. And as a sustainability champion myself, I'll urge that this sustainability activity should not be one-day event of the 5th of June, where we do sampling for a symbolic sampling, but it should be a way of life. A way of life that every individual should adapt living in a green way, and also there should be some mechanism to calculate carbon credits for the individual as a reward points. For example, if he is going through public transportation, if he is going through a metro, if he is going through shared mobility, certain credit points should come to him, and this will be like measured. Like we have CIBIL for what we call for financial discipline. There should be some kind of mechanism which can be devised to reward the people who are living with green initiatives every day. So certain organizations are working abroad. Entrepreneurs in this room can explore that opportunity also. And I will not take much time because I know that we are running behind the schedule. And once again, I thank all the participants, and let us have these sessions today open up to many of the activities which can build Hyderabad and also Bharat towards sustainability. Thank you.
Address. As organizations increasingly align ESG principle, today marks a significant milestone in our collective journey towards sustainable and ethical business practices. I now have the honors of inviting Mr. Sharat Chand Maruju, Vice President HMA, to formally announce the ESG certification initiative. Mr. Maruju has played a pivotal role in advancing ESG awareness and embedding governance excellence within organization framework. May I request Mr. Sharat Chand to kindly take the dais and make the announcement.
Everyone, respected Chief Guest, Sri Jayesh Ranjan Garu, IAS, and President of HMA, Sri Alwala Devendra Reddy Garu, Secretary Vasudevan Garu, and ESG Convener, Srimati Chetana Jain Garu, and distinguished speakers, fellow members, and guests. As Vice President of HMA, I am honored to announce the HMA ESG Certification Program, a transformative initiative positioning HMA as India's premier management leaderboard for ESG excellence. The market is demanding ESG competency. Companies face regulatory mandates, investor pressures, and stakeholders' expectations. Professionals lack globally aligned certification. Hyderabad's industries, from wastewater treatment to pharma CDMOs to manufacturing, need certified ESG talent now. HMA steps in as a trusted certifier, ensuring supply meets demand. Our 360-degree certification covers business impact, ROI metrics, and ESG-linked financial gains. Career pathways, more than 500 plus green jobs across water, energy, finance, and AI sectors. Technological edge, AI-driven carbon accounting, as our president just now been speaking about, and compliance like BRSR, SEBI, and global standards. Sustainability outcomes, net zero strategies, backed by academic rigor and partnership ecosystem, like Mahindra University and FTCCI industry leaders, ensuring the real-world applicability. As HMA, we benchmark professional excellence. Certified professionals joins HMA's elite network, accessing leadership opportunities, industry insights, and market-ready positions. Companies trust HMA's certified talent. Our seal ensures quality, relevance, and integrity. Telangana leads India's green transformation. This certification cements our city as a ESG hub. With this, we are launching the first cohort in the month of January 2026. Registrations will be open after this session. And HMA commits to bridging the ESG skills gap, ensuring market demands are met with certified excellence. We are not just an association, we are the management leader setting standards. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the important initiative from HMA. We now proceed to an important milestone in our communication journey, the release of the HMA newsletter, a platform that captures our latest initiatives, achievement, and insight, reflecting our shared vision, transparency, and continued engagement with members and stakeholders. I now invite Sri Vasudevan Ji, Secretary HMA, to take the lead in formally releasing the newsletter. I also request our esteemed dignitaries on the dais to kindly join him for this ceremonial release.
And gentlemen, thank you very much for this. I would request, sir, on part of HMA, we have now requested to kindly release the same, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's time to welcome our visionary leader whose guidance and has been shaping future of Telangana. It is an honor to batch officer and all India. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Jayesh Ranjan IAS to share his insight and vision with us.
Greetings to the senior leadership of HMA. I would like to first of all congratulate the ESG committee for organizing this very interesting seminar. I have gone through the day's program and you have invited some very, very distinguished speakers. The topics that you have chosen are also very relevant and interesting, so I'm sure all of you will have a very productive day. I'll take a few minutes to tell something about what the government is doing here, what it plans to do in the coming days. Many of you would be aware that just about a week ago, we conducted a very big event in Hyderabad called the Telangana Rising Global Summit. And one of the purposes of conducting that event was to release our vision document, which is called the Telangana Rising Vision 2047. As you would know, this visioning exercise is happening throughout the country. Honorable Prime Minister has given this call that India should become an advanced country, a Vikasit Bharat by 2047. And he has asked the states also to contribute to India's growth into a $30 trillion economy and advancement in so many other fronts as well. So different states have prepared or are preparing their vision documents. I can share this with you because I had led the initiative here in Telangana, that we have prepared it with lots of seriousness. I mean, I know of a few other states also where they have prepared that document just for the sake of preparing something and handing over to Niti Aayog. But we have done lots of consultations. We have understood where we are, what do we need to do to reach somewhere, and how it is possible, and so on and so forth. So some of you might have seen the document already. After it was released, we have put it on public domain. You would recall that there are 3 broad sections in that. One section is on economic development, and the headline of that section is what will it take to make Telangana a $3 trillion economy by 2047. Another section is on social development, because there are certain segments of the population where the government is very focused on. There is a very clear mandate to the government that these sections have to be advanced, and we have to ensure their progress. And these are women, youth, and farmers. So one section is on social development. But a very important third part of this document is on sustainable development. So we were very clear. See, normally when these kind of exercises are done, the focus is largely on economic development and a little bit on social development. But our Chief Minister was very clear that no item should be included in the chapters or in the document which compromises on sustainability, which compromises on environment. Because on the one hand, $3 trillion economy is a very tall order. We are currently at $200 million. To make it $3 trillion is a manifold jump. And one easy way out would have been to look at some very reckless models of development. But Chief Minister is very clear that everything has to be within the framework of sustainability. Therefore, we have prepared this chapter on sustainable development with lots of care. And the headline of that chapter is that Telangana aspires to become a net zero state by 2047. Now, many of you would know that Honorable Prime Minister has put 2070 as the deadline for the country to become net zero. And obviously, as the Prime Minister, he will have knowledge about the entire country. Not every state in the country is progressive. Not every state in the country is economically sound to manage the transition from a carbonized economy to a decarbonized economy. And therefore, 2070 must have been decided based on some logic and science and understanding. But in our state, we are very confident that given our track record, given some of the legacy interventions which have worked well in the state, and our economic position, we can easily target 2047 as our net zero date. Now, how will that translate into action? What will be done to make Telangana net zero by 2047? Obviously, multiple interventions will have to be listed out and planned for and implemented. And obviously, if you have to reach somewhere by 2047, it does not mean that you do nothing till 2046. You keep sleeping and then suddenly you wake up and you expect that some magic will happen or some miracle will happen. Obviously, that will not happen. If you have to reach somewhere by 2047, you have to start action now itself. In 2025, you have to do something, 26, 30, 34, 38, 39, and so on and so forth. So we will be announcing very, very shortly the entire roadmap for this net zero, and obviously what kind of interventions will be required. Some interventions will be very impactful, some interventions. Already Chief Minister has spoken about some of the interventions, but we are putting that together. For example, Chief Minister has announced that all the RTC buses will be substituted by electric buses. He has also announced that all the industries which are there in the core urban area, they will be shifted to outside the core urban area. There also they will be encouraged to rely on green power. The government has come up with a clean and green energy policy. So some of the initiatives which the government wants to take are already known to people, but we will be putting that together in a framework, and different segments will have to look at how they will contribute to net zero. In some cases, the transition will be costly, and obviously we will have to find ways to fund that transition. In some cases, the transition is not very complicated. It can happen quite easily. So all this will be kind of studied in depth, laid out possibly in the coming few months. But the reality will be that this will be a very important challenge for the credibility of the government, because to make a statement that I will become net zero by 2047, it is like a taxi meter. The moment you step inside the car, the meter starts. So that is how it will be for us. The moment we come out with the implementation plan, the action on the ground will start, and all stakeholders. So whoever you are, you may be a consumer of electricity in a household, how will you be encouraged to shift to renewable sources of power? Of course, everything has a timeline. Some of the things will happen faster, some of the things will happen at its own pace. But obviously by 2047, we want everything to be concluded. If you are if you are an industrialist, let us say you are an MSME, how will you be encouraged to shift to green power? If you work in a commercial enterprise, how will that enterprise use power in a different way? If you use a two-wheeler or a car to commute, how will you be encouraged to shift to an electric two-wheeler or an electric car? In whatever way you are leaving a carbon footprint in our state on the environment, how will that be decarbonized? So there will be plans for everything, and obviously companies, etc., will have a very important role to play. So the reason why I explained about our vision document, etc., is that E of the ESG is something which is inevitable. I mean, we can't avoid it. We can't say that it's not for me, someone else has to do it. And obviously we know that for a number of changes that we intend to make, sometimes a mix of regulations will have to be required. Sometimes there has to be some incentives provided, but sometimes there also has to be some disincentives provided. So we will be working out all those things very, very thoroughly. We have identified the consultancy firm who will be assisting the government in preparing this plan. They have a wealth of experience in developing net zero plans for other countries, for other states, for other cities, and they will be doing that work with us also. And obviously the plan that they will bring out will have huge ramifications. So there will be lots of consultations done. It's not that some consultant's report will be thrust upon everyone. All of us will be given a chance to speak about it, to share our thoughts, maybe give even better ideas than what is coming there. So everyone is encouraged to participate. But again, the point which I'm trying to link to all these things that I'm speaking about is that E is inevitable, at least in Telangana. I mean, it will be inevitable throughout the country as time goes by, but at least in our state, there will now be a sense of urgency. How do you maintain environmental goals? And every country, every company, whether it's a manufacturing company or a service company, will have to, when you look at your balance sheet, many companies do that. As you would know, there is something called the triple bottom line. They report about the environment, the carbon footprint, what measures they have taken to mitigate it, to remediate it, but some of it will become mandatory. Of course, not to say that I have spoken at length about E, but it does not mean that S and G are unimportant or less important. All the other two activities also are important. But one good thing about Telangana and Hyderabad is that on social and governmental issues, I have seen, I've been working in the government for more than 3 decades now, and I have seen an amazing transformation, particularly from the year, in the millennium year onwards, 2000 onwards. The level of professionalism which has come in organizations of Hyderabad, the kind of new generation leadership and thinking has taken roots. So as you would know, Hyderabad has become a very important destination for global companies, global MNCs to come here and set up their organizations, etc. I have participated in countless such interactions when a company is selecting the Indian location and they're checking out Hyderabad. I have represented the government in these discussions. And one of the things which companies themselves tell professional ethic, work ethic about Hyderabad. This is something which they find it to be very striking, very different from other Indian cities or comparable Indian cities. So in terms of governance norms, in terms of ensuring transparency, ethical governance, ethical leadership, we do see things which are progressing very well. In terms of social also, we have seen lots of changes about how to make organizations or workplaces more inclusive. We have seen many companies having policies right from recruitment to skilling to promotion to leadership, which are gender friendly. Women are encouraged to take leadership roles. Women are trained to take leadership roles. In the past, we used to speak about a glass ceiling. Women can be talented, but they will just not be able to go beyond a level. Possibly it still exists. I'm not saying the glass ceiling is totally broken, but definitely there are very positive signs, at least in Hyderabad and Telangana, that some of these conservative kind of notions, 19th century thoughts and ideas, as I call them, they are kind of weakening. And if all of us play our roles perfectly, we can demolish all that. We can create a level playing field. Also, inclusiveness in terms of one's orientation or disabilities or abilities, etc. People are becoming more and more accommodative to these kind of differences. And as I said, the work ethic and the professional work culture in Hyderabad that appeals to people, particularly global companies, etc. But one other very important thing is when I speak about ESG, ESG is today becoming a more and more important imperative from a global standpoint also. When we look at the vision document of Telangana, as I mentioned, the headline of the economic development section is that how Telangana becomes a $3 trillion economy. And one of the interventions or one of the segments which will contribute to this $3 trillion growth figure is our exports. So we have done a very deep analysis, and we feel that our exports can be increased at least 10 times more in the coming 22 years. So we know for sure that at least in Europe, there is a very strong compliance requirement on ESG. As you know, pharma sector, the life sciences sector, biotech sector is very important in Hyderabad and Telangana. 93 countries receive products which are made in Telangana and Hyderabad. The pharma companies, as we all know, they're all around us. But from Europe, some kind of an ultimatum has come that if you are not ESG compliant, I will ban your products. So this will be a very serious threat. I mean, so far we have been flourishing based on our exposure to global markets. Of course, America is a big consumer, but as you know, because of the tariffs and some kind of a uncertainty about American markets, Europe is becoming more and more important. And my guess is that this uncertainty in America will prevail for quite a few years. And therefore, shifting towards Europe and of course finding new markets in Middle East and Latin America, etc. is important. But Europe will become a strong replacement for North America. But if Europe has such strict regulations on ESG, etc., there could be an opportunity, but our companies will not be able to make use of it just because they are faltering on ESG. And I was attending a webinar a few months ago. Some European regulators had conducted that webinar. And they told something which is very, very important, but also very drastic. They told that not only should you be ESG compliant, for example, let us say, just to give a random example, let us take the name of Dr. Reddy's. So let us say Dr. Reddy's export. So what the European requirements are that not only should Dr. Reddy's be ESG compliant, all the suppliers to Dr. Reddy's also should be ESG compliant. So it is not just good enough that I am compliant and therefore I'm safe. All your suppliers also have to be compliant. So it's a very kind of a tough ask, but definitely this is doable. And as I said, it also contributes to our vision of net zero. It contributes to improving or enhancing our reputation about our professional work ethic, etc. So it is all for the good of the city, of the state, of the country, and therefore we must wholeheartedly participate in it. The other point, I know that there are sessions later on which will address these points, but I'll very quickly refer to these 2 points. That one is, of course, compliance, and how do you ensure compliance? Are there enough number of professionals to guide you about ESG? Are there trained people? So in that context, the certification program that you are starting is very valuable, because I personally feel that there is a skill gap when it comes to ESG compliance. The other very important thing is reporting. You may be compliant, but there is a very complex structure of reporting, and European laws require some kind of reporting, American laws require some other kind of reporting, and so on and so forth. And then again, the reports have to be verifiable, auditable, accountable, authentic, and so on and so forth. So this also points to a suggestion which I would like to pose before HMA. So while you have started the certification course, which is great, today the reality is that on both these 2 counts, both on compliance as well as on reporting, lots of startups have kind of emerged, who have come up with good solutions, good products, good reporting tools, good way of monitoring compliance, and so on and so forth. And HMA can do a big service if it prepares an inventory of all these startups who are available. Some of them are in Hyderabad for sure. I've met some of them personally, so I know that they are there. But there could be others elsewhere also. They could be in Delhi, Bombay, or wherever, Bangalore. So if you can make this effort to prepare an inventory of proven startups whose products and solutions have been validated, they have already started supplying it to their clients, clients have expressed satisfaction, this can be a great help. And as a government, we would be very happy to support this initiative if HMA does that, to prepare a kind of an inventory, a book or a directory which explains what the startup does, etc., etc. So these are some of the thoughts which I wanted to share. But as I said at the very beginning, this is a very important topic. I mean, and this is very timely occasion to discuss this topic. On the one hand, our vision implementation will start. On the other hand, there are global imperatives, and otherwise also to maintain the reputation of the city, to show that state is in the lead of every aspect. It's very important that our all the businesses, all the manufacturing industries, service industries, households, all of us first of all understand what is the concept behind ESG and how we can become a part of it. So congratulations once again, and thanks very much for inviting me to deliver this address. Thank you.